What if everything you've been taught about freedom is a lie? What if I told you that the very concept of freedom, the one you've been striving for your entire life, might actually be the very thing that's keeping you trapped? Sounds crazy, right? But let's pause for a moment. Let's think deeply about something that Jean-Paul Sartre, one of the most influential philosophers of the 20th century, proposed, that we are all condemned to be free, and the more we try to escape that responsibility, the more we build walls around ourselves that limit our potential and hold us back from truly living. The very idea of freedom, the one you've been conditioned to pursue, might be leading you into deeper chains, and that's what we're diving into today. In today's world, we're told that freedom is the key to happiness, success, and fulfillment. We are constantly encouraged to live our best lives and follow our dreams, but rarely do we stop and question what that even means. Jean-Paul Sartre's philosophy turns this idea upside down. His existentialist thoughts challenge everything we assume about freedom. Sartre claimed that we are not just free to make choices, we are condemned to be free. This doesn't mean freedom is a gift or something to be celebrated. Instead, it's a burden we carry, and the weight of it can be crushing. Let's break this down. According to Sartre, freedom isn't just about the ability to do whatever you want. That's what society has sold us. Instead, true freedom is realizing that every choice you make is yours, and yours alone. There's no one to blame but yourself. That's terrifying. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, the reality of total responsibility can feel overwhelming. But why does that matter? Sartre's idea of bad faith suggests that we live in a state of self-deception. Most people, rather than embracing the full responsibility of freedom, choose to hide from it. We find comfort in excuses, in following others' expectations, and in living a life of conformity. By not questioning what we're told or what we believe, we avoid confronting the uncomfortable truth that we are responsible for everything in our lives. That realization is the starting point for true freedom. This is where the trap lies. Society tells us that freedom means doing whatever we want, but true freedom is taking ownership of our choices and the consequences of those choices. Imagine you're in a room, but there are no doors. You can see the window, and beyond that, a beautiful open field, but the window is too small for you to escape. You've been standing there, trying to break the window, finding ways to move the furniture around to get a better view, all the while convincing yourself that the window's the problem. But here's the truth. The real issue isn't the window. The problem is that you're still standing in the same room, convinced that you can only escape by fitting through that tiny window. What if I told you that the walls you think are keeping you trapped are self-imposed? What if the key to freedom isn't outside the room, but in your ability to step out of the room itself, to stop looking at your life as something that's dictated by external forces? You are the one who built the room, and you are the one who can tear down the walls. So, what's the real message here? Sartre's philosophy isn't about rejecting freedom. It's about embracing the heavy responsibility that comes with it. It's about looking in the mirror and accepting that every aspect of your life, the good and the bad, is a result of your own choices. There's no one to blame, and there's no one to thank, just you. That's the hard truth. You are the creator of your own life. You don't get to be a passive bystander in your own story. The good news: you have the power to rewrite your narrative. But that's where the problem lies, isn't it? The idea of having full control over your life can be just as terrifying as it is empowering. The weight of that responsibility can paralyze us, making us retreat into the comfort of familiar excuses, or worse, into complete inaction. Sartre wasn't just talking about freedom as a philosophical idea. He was talking about the real psychological impact of it, the existential anxiety that comes with realizing that you have no one else to blame, no one else to rescue you. The anxiety of true freedom is what holds us back. Think about it. How many times have you been in a situation where you know you need to make a change, but you stay stuck because you're afraid of the consequences? That's not a lack of ability or opportunity. That's the fear of what happens when you finally confront the fact that the ball is in your court. Freedom means that no matter what happens, you are the one responsible for how things unfold. It's so much easier to stay in a job you hate, in a relationship that drains you, or in a lifestyle that makes you feel miserable, because staying is comfortable. It means you don't have to own up to the fact that you could choose differently. You don't have to risk failure. But that's the cost of living authentically, facing the uncomfortable truth that you can no longer hide from your own choices. The weight of that responsibility can lead you to self-doubt, fear, and even paralysis. But here's where you have a choice. Do you let fear control you, or do you use it to fuel your growth? Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, a friend of mine was stuck in a job she hated. Every day she'd complain about her boss, her colleagues, and how unfulfilled she felt. She knew she had to leave, but she kept making excuses. I need the money. I can't start over. What will people think? All of these excuses were rooted in the fear of her own freedom, the fear of stepping into the unknown, where she had to take full responsibility for her life. But then one day, she made a choice. She walked away from that job, not knowing exactly what would come next. The moment she did, she felt the weight of her freedom, but it was liberating. She wasn't just quitting, she was claiming her life back. Fast forward, and now she's in a job she loves, in a city she always dreamed of living in, and she's so much happier. That was her choice. It wasn't easy, but it was her responsibility to make it. So how do you break free from this fear of responsibility? How do you step out of that room we talked about earlier and face the uncomfortable truth that only you can change your life? Acknowledge your responsibility. The first step is to acknowledge that you have full control over your life. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that's gone wrong, but recognizing that the way forward is in your hands. If you want change, you have the power to create it. Stop seeking external validation. Let go of the need to please others or to live up to their expectations. The world will always try to pull you in a million directions. You have to learn to trust your own instincts and make decisions that align with your values, not others. Take small, courageous steps. Freedom doesn't happen overnight. Start by taking small steps that challenge your comfort zone, whether it's asking for a raise, speaking your truth in a relationship, or making a career change. These little acts of courage will build your confidence and help you break free from the fear of responsibility. Here's the bottom line. The true path to freedom is not about running away from responsibility. It's about embracing it. It's about looking at your life, acknowledging the power you hold, and taking action, even when it's scary. Once you do that, you'll realize something incredible. You've never been truly trapped. You just needed the courage to step out of your own self-imposed prison. So ask yourself, are you living in bad faith, or are you ready to take full responsibility for your life? The choice is yours, and the freedom is waiting.